$1 million. That was the price tag on the gown Ava Thompson wore as she stepped into the grand ballroom. Every eye in the room immediately found her, but not all eyes were filled with admiration. Some were tinged with envy, others with outright hostility. Before we dive deeper, I want to know where you are watching from. Which city? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like to support the channel. Ava moved with calm confidence, each step deliberate, her presence impossible to ignore. The air was thick with the scent of perfume, fine champagne, and the subtle tension of high society sizing her up. This gala was the social pinnacle of the season, a place where status mattered above all else, and Ava had fought for every inch of her place here. Whispers floated through the room, soft but sharp. Is she really wearing that? Someone murmured. Another rolled their eyes, a smirk playing on their lips. Ava smiled politely, hiding the fire that burned inside her, a fire born not from arrogance, but from years of proving herself, of carving out space in a world that often tried to ignore her. Across the room, Richard Laurent watched her with calculated interest, his piercing gaze assessing and cold. He was the CEO, the organizer of the gala, a man used to having control, used to being the authority no one dared challenge. Yet here Ava stood, unflinching, a living statement against the subtle biases that had followed her for decades. She made her way to the center of the room, feeling the stares, the judgment, the quiet, insidious racism wrapped in compliments and polite chatter. Her assistant leaned in, whispering reassurance, but Ava needed no comforting words. She knew the weight of history rested on her shoulders tonight, the weight of expectations, of eyes that measured her worth by her skin, her dress, her audacity. And yet she moved like she owned the room because in truth, she did. Every step, every smile, every graceful motion was a declaration that she would not shrink, would not apologize for existing in spaces designed to exclude her. The chatter around her thickened as she approached the bar, a mix of curiosity, gossip, and thinly veiled disapproval. It was then that Richard Laurent crossed her path, glass in hand, his voice smooth yet laced with condescension. "Ava Thompson," he said. "That is quite a statement." She met his eyes without hesitation. "Thank you, Mr. Laurent. I hope you're enjoying the evening." His smirk faltered slightly, an acknowledgement that she was not an easy target. "I hope you understand what you're wearing, right?" Ava raised an eyebrow, steady, unyielding. "I know exactly what I'm wearing," she replied. The tension between them was palpable, a quiet battle waged with nothing more than composure and the weight of presence. Guests whispered, sensing the friction, the undercurrent of challenge flowing through the room. Laurent's assistant attempted to intervene subtly, trying to calm the situation, but her gestures were waved off. Laurent wanted to see how far Ava would go, and Ava, feeling the chill of confrontation, knew that this night would not follow the scripts written by the elite. The gala continued, yet the whispers followed her, threading through the crowd with increasing intensity. Every step she took, every nod of acknowledgement was measured, analyzed, and often doubted by those around her. But Ava's resolve only deepened, her awareness sharpened. She was about to transform a night of judgment into a statement of power. The main event approached, the charity auction. The very gown she wore, a shimmering masterpiece, now became a symbol of daring audacity. The auctioneer's voice rang out, oblivious to the undercurrent of tension. "Who will start at 1 million?" The room held its breath. Ava raised her paddle, her voice calm and precise. 1 million, she declared. A gasp rippled through the crowd, whispers swelling into murmurs, murmurs into outrage. She had challenged the unspoken hierarchy, asserted her presence in a world that often denied her authority. Security moved instinctively, misunderstanding her confidence for disruption. Laurent stepped forward, sharp, attempting to reclaim control, but Ava's poise did not waver. "I can, and I did," she said simply. Every eye turned toward her, the room collectively acknowledging that this was no ordinary guest, no ordinary confrontation. Laurent's face, once smug, reddened with frustration. He tried to regain dominance, signaling his team, but the momentum had shifted. Ava's composure was magnetic, drawing attention and support through sheer presence. Guests, assistants, photographers, even those usually aligned with Laurent, felt the tension crackling in the air. Every element of the gala, the lights, the music, the opulence, now revolved around her quiet defiance. The auctioneer, sensing the growing storm, tried to steer the situation calmly, but Ava's calm authority overpowered the attempts to control the moment. The gown's shimmer became more than decoration. It was a beacon, a symbol of resistance, and a testament to her refusal to be diminished. Laurent lunged subtly, asserting authority, yet Ava's stance remained unyielding, her eyes steady, her smile cutting yet composed. The security guards hesitated, unaccustomed to facing a guest who commanded attention through dignity and silent power. Whispers turned into murmurs, murmurs into shocked gasps, as bystanders recognized the quiet revolution taking place before them. Ava understood the magnitude of the moment. She was no longer simply a participant. She was the story, the center of attention, the embodiment of defiance against entrenched systems. Every detail of the gown, every gesture, every word she spoke, carried the weight of history and personal triumph. The evening was no longer a gala. It was a reckoning. And Ava Thompson, standing tall, composed, and unapologetic, was at its center. The moment Ava Thompson's paddle went up, the gala transformed. Conversations froze, glasses paused mid-air, and even the orchestra seemed to falter for an instant. Social media notifications were already being shared by a few tech-savvy guests who captured the audacious bid on their phones. Ava, fully aware of the storm she had unleashed, remained composed. She had not come to make friends or please the elite. She had come to exist unapologetically in a space that historically excluded her. Laurent's face twisted with anger and disbelief, his authority challenged in front of hundreds. He stepped closer, attempting to reclaim control, but Ava's calm and unwavering gaze held him at bay. "Step back," she said, her voice steady, resonating with confidence and command. Security wavered, unsure of how to respond to someone who posed no real threat yet emanated undeniable power. The murmurs around the room escalated into gasps, whispers of admiration mixing with disbelief. The gala, once a symbol of exclusivity and control, had been subverted by the presence of one determined woman. Ava's bid on the gown was more than a statement of wealth. It was a declaration that she would not be diminished or dismissed. Every inch of her posture, every subtle motion, carried the weight of defiance and grace. The cameras clicked, phones recorded, and soon the story began to escape the walls of the ballroom. Guests realized they were witnessing something rare, a moment of social upheaval played out in real time. The whispers among elites shifted from judgment to fascination. Even Laurent's allies were forced to reconsider their positions, as the narrative began to tilt away from his carefully curated image. Outside the gala, the story spread like wildfire. Clips of Ava standing tall, the golden gown shimmering under the lights, went viral across social media platforms. News outlets picked up the footage, framing it as a moment of bold defiance against entrenched elitism and subtle racism. The conversation around Ava Thompson shifted instantly. She became a symbol of courage, a representation of strength in spaces that had long been unwelcoming. Messages flooded her phone the following morning. Some praised her bravery, some criticized it, and a few revealed the ugliness of bias in unfiltered ways. Ava read each message with quiet resolve, understanding that influence always attracted scrutiny. Her assistant shared the deluge of coverage, wide-eyed at the sheer scale of the public reaction. "Ava, the coverage is insane. You're trending worldwide," she said. Ava sipped her coffee calmly, a small smile playing across her lips. "Good," she replied quietly. "Let them talk. The board of her investment firm soon called. They weren't concerned about her performance, which was exemplary, but about the potential backlash and the influence of Laurent in social circles. Ava listened patiently. "I appreciate your concern, but I will not apologize for asserting my presence," she said. The board hesitated, unfamiliar with a professional who refused to soften her achievements to appease others. Meanwhile, Laurent scrambled, his PR team working overtime to contain the narrative, but the story had escaped his control. Ava's grace, poise, and refusal to be intimidated became the defining image of the gala. Over the following days, the impact rippled further. Invitations to speak at events, panels, and interviews began arriving. Ava's visibility not only amplified her voice, but also created opportunities for her firm, previously inaccessible due to the restrictive nature of elite networking. She became a case study, an example of how calm authority and audacity could shift perceptions and inspire change. Through all of this, Ava remained grounded. She did not seek fame for herself. She sought to redefine the boundaries of respect, representation, and inclusion. The golden gown, once merely a dress, had become a symbol of courage, a tangible reminder of the power that comes from standing firm against systemic bias. Laurent, meanwhile, faced increasing scrutiny. Social media commentary, memes, and public discussion painted him as the antagonist, the man trying to assert control over someone unafraid to claim her space. The very systems he relied upon to maintain status began to crumble under the weight of public attention and Ava's unwavering dignity. Weeks later, Ava's presence at subsequent events was met with admiration rather than hostility. Invitations poured in from charitable organizations, prestigious galas, and influential networks, each recognizing the woman who dared to challenge the status quo. Her influence extended far beyond social media. Corporations, nonprofits, and community leaders sought her insight, her voice, her perspective on leadership, resilience, and navigating systemic bias. The story of a single night in a ballroom, a $1 million gown, and the quiet defiance of a determined woman had ignited conversations far beyond the walls of the gala. Ava Thompson had turned a moment of confrontation into a lifetime mission of empowerment. She mentored young professionals, spoke at events, and continued to assert her presence unapologetically. The golden gown remained a symbol, a beacon, a story of triumph against prejudice and elitism. And through it all, Ava's authenticity and confidence remained unshaken. Standing tall in the world that sought to diminish her, she had not only claimed her place, but reshaped the narrative entirely. She became a name synonymous with courage, grace, and influence. The gala, the gown, the confrontation, all became legendary in social and professional circles. Ava understood that the work was far from over. The change required continued effort, but the night had proven the power of presence, poise, and unwavering self-belief. Her story inspired countless others to step boldly into spaces that had historically denied them recognition. Ava Thompson had transformed a single act of defiance into a ripple of empowerment that could not be ignored, a reminder that courage, dignity, and persistence were the ultimate instruments of change. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more real-life accounts of courage and resilience, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us bring more stories like Ava's to the world.